Jane Windsor says, okay, now I'm rooting for Sorensen. My heart goes out to the underdog. Danny says, must be so hard. You're playing your second ever live tournament. You have to decide stuff like that. Poor Sorensen.
Yeah, I mean, don't forget, this is all under the umbrella of all of our tournament directors, like, standing around. There's no way they would not do anything to police if he was being properly bullied, but they've taken the ICM and made a slight adjustment.
He's also locked up better than second place prize money.
Yeah.
And he's also going to get the better part of €1 million should he win.
Yeah, so this is only bad for him if he was about to win this, but it's still an amazing deal. So don't jump on it too much.
And it's not unreasonable to expect the least experienced player at the table to maybe give up a little bit. I think it's fair to say that both Petkov and Sorrentino have an edge over Sorensen. Granted, that edge is reduced by the high variance of the current format.
That's the thing, it'd be nice if we could break it down into, here's your ability rating, here's how much you're owed in the prize pool, but of course that's not how poker works. If that is how poker worked, not so many people would be playing these tournaments. I might not have played the main event myself.
So we're going to get the action restarted now. The deal is agreed. It's all been signed, authorized by the tournament staff. We are good to go again. And remember, they are still playing for a 6-figure score. They are still playing for the championship trophy and title. Sorrentino still looking to become a 2-time main event champion.
What did you get, 14? 14?
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kate. We're getting the action restarted. Yes, blinds are big. 400,000, 800,000 with a 100,000 ante. We are due to play 2 45-minute levels back to back.
Such awesome stories here. Scarf Guy, the new favorite of the interwebs.
Yeah, Scarf Guy definitely picked up a lot of fans here.
Oh, by the way, did I mention that he qualified online? Therefore, his return on investment is not inconsiderable.
Wow.
Petkov, the spin and go expert,
Yeah.
has a lot of experience at this format. And Sorrentino going for back-to-back ships in PokerStars Championship main event.
Not quite back to back.
Well,
There's the annoyance of Sochi in the middle.
Yeah, I
that's
didn't
my
wanna-
bad.
Didn't want to blow that away, but
It's close though. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Is that the meatloaf?
yeah.
Sorensen calling in the small blind. Sorrentino in the big. Checks his option with 8-7. Sorensen ahead for now with queen high. Ten, 7-3. Sorrentino with second pair. Action's been checked to him.
So there is still 100,000 to play for, and the title, of course. It'll be interesting to see if the pace of play changes, if the demeanor changes. It's still an insane amount of money to play three-handed for.
Well, that's why I'm always I'm always keen to throw up the examples when people do worry that the deal, like, well, now no one cares. It's like, we have seen it time and time again. We get the deal tied up. We're still in for hours and hours because it just still a lot of money in a vacuum, like 100,000 plus the title.
2 of the longest final tables we've ever covered. PCA 2014. A 3-way deal was done between Mike McDonald, Dominic Panker, and Isaac Barron. That final table went on till the early hours of the morning, an epic heads-up battle between Mike and Dominic. Not least because Mike wanted to be a 2-time winner.
Yeah.
Fast forward to Barcelona 6 months later, Andre Latau. That went on till the early hours of the morning. They'd done a deal hours before.
Yeah.
The additional money, the trophy, the title, they mean something. Still pretty even between the final 3 players in this championship main event. Sorensen. 7-5 on the button. He's gonna raise. Frisky.
Big raise as well. 2.6 million. Blinds 400, 800,000. You could make it as small as 1.6 if you chose to.
Petkov with ace-4 in the big blind.
And this hand is pretty straightforward against a min raise. And now against this funky raise size, I struggle in these spots. Wow. hand, it folds the ace to just a single raise. Mixing it up worked.
Sorensen has taken the chip lead, but it's pretty much even Stevens between him and Latizar Petkov. We come to hand 115 of the final table. 10-8 for Rafael Sorrentino, who folds. 4 in the small. Latizar Petkov.
This should just be a check here. Two kind of junky hands.
Blind on blind, unraised pre. The flop is Jack 5-3. Nothing for either player. King high officially ahead.
It's an interesting check from Petkov. I would expect this with an ace high, but with king high, I see a lot of benefit to taking a stab.
10 on the turn. Sorensen now with second pair and a 93% favorite.
And now Petkov's in a spot where, are you going to try and get to showdown with king high? Are you going to bluff?
Sorensen bets 2.1 million.
Petkov not folding, making a call with the king high here. Very optimistic. And 6 of spades on the river.
Yeah, no one acted after the flop, so gonna be hard to sell the spades. You can just keep betting anyway, because if they didn't believe you, they were kind of right to not believe you, but maybe they pay you off when you get there.
Petkov calling the turn, and now has king high on the river. Found himself in not a very fun situation. Are there devious thoughts going on? Is there any way Petkov can call here, Matt?
I mean, whatever has driven him this far in the hand, which I don't entirely understand, maybe that drives him on to carry on and be the hero, but...
I think we're on the verge of a king high hero call.
Well, he's shown such interest all the way throughout with just the king high.
Could he raise?
Well, that's the only thinking. That's why I went back to the fact we had the 2 spades but no action on the flop. So I kind of don't really understand how we got here. So it's really hard for me to work out what to do. Which is a dreadful admission, but you know what I'm saying.
Pretty unlikely to see a raise now. When you see an admission like that in the face, it's a call or fold, generally. Although if you are playing your local cash game, look out for that. Sometimes people change their minds, and they forget.
He's just worked out, I don't really know where I am, but then they go, yeah, I'm on. He did go for it. How weird. And after so long and the shake of the head, and as you say, you kind of wonder how he got there, but maybe he just had a dream. that the King High was going to somehow be good. All that aggression from Sorensen. And Sebastian Sorensen, known to many as Scarf Guy, up to 26 million on the nose, 32 big blinds. Double his nearest competitor, Rafael Sorrentino, with 13.4. And Petkov now with 9.5. So that was pretty key. That just grew into a real big pot without really all the trumpets sounding.
Who would have thought? Scarf Guy, final 3.
I know.
Leading the PokerStars Championship Barcelona.
King 8.
The thing is, sales of dolphins scarves is going to go through the roof, and there'll be some guy merchandising saying, I don't know what we did, boss, but it was just, that time in August. Do you remember that spike in sales, August 26th, 27th? It just went through the roof. You never know. Well, this is nice, when you've just managed to win a bigger hand, and then you get the ammo to try again. Build up a bit of momentum. It's kind of a pretty slow-moving game now. I think it's going to be hard to get any real movement. Everyone pretty deliberate in their actions.
Sorensen raising it up.
All in.
Wow. Ace Queen. Well, that's kind of understandable.
And Sorensen raising so large, 3.9 million, and now has given himself a really good price to call in here with the 3s.
14.
I mean, there might come a point where you think, do you know what, the speed of these blinds, the way this is going, maybe this is just the time to get it all in.
What do was Bob higher? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Rafa.
Big decision on Sorensen here. Just got himself to the top of the leaderboard of the 3 remaining players on our final table, and an opportunity here to take on Sorrentino. It would be a flip, but Sorensen would be ahead. You can't know that. And he has gone for it. So Sorrentino all in at risk. Slightly behind, 52% plays 47. And you see now why just a few minutes ago, sorting out that deal, claiming that extra little squeeze of euros. Because with short stack play, you just never know when you're going to find yourself in these flips. And now you hand over all power to the gods. Let the deck do what it will. And other cliches from the world of poker commentary.
Enjoy the ride.
That's all you can do, Scarf Guy. Good thing is he gets to keep the scarf. I'm surprised Sorrentino didn't say I want 15 grand.
And the scarf.
That comes with me. Safe for the 3s right now. 6-6 deuce. And this would really set Sorensen up into a huge lead against Petkov. Unless Sorrentino can hit an ace or a queen on the 10 or river here. Still looking good. 9 outs for Sorrentino to dream about now because of the opportunity to counterfeit. Aces, queens, or 7s. I mean, it's always coming to 7, but that's absolutely no guarantee. It's a jack. Whew. And that is all for Sorrentino. 3rd spot here. The deal was done. His first question is about one of the other key hands that's clearly been irking him. So, Rafael Sorrentino out in 3rd, 850,000 euros plus. And now we are going to be heads up for that additional 100,000 euros and the title. But the dream is over for 2 PokerStars Championship main event wins. He took it down in Monte Carlo. He is not going to take it home here in Barcelona. Heads up, Sebastian Sorensen, Lechizar Petkov. And it is a 50-1 big blind chip lead, 40.4 million. Excuse me, 40.9. It's because of my screen blinds. I've got a really good excuse. 40.9 plays against 9.5. The blinds at 400,000, 800,000 with 100 ante. 30 minutes still on the clock.
That's a pretty big discrepancy.
Oh my God, you won't believe it. Scarf Guy has become Scarf and Sunglasses Guy.
Wow.
I mean,
Good luck, man.
if he goes for a hat, we're going to have absolutely nothing to
This
look
is a
at.
next
Can we
level
pause?
look here.
So here we go, let's set the scene. Team Sweden, Sebastian Sorensen in the scarf, up against Bulgarian Lachazar Petkov. Sorensen with a huge chip lead. More than 40 million, plays 8.5. 30 minutes still on the level. 400,000, 800,000, and a 100,000 ante.
So Petkov, this is his wheelhouse. Heads up, sit and go player. He knows everything to a T, what to do here. Sorensen has the heart of the people behind him, though.
He does. The thing is, I don't know if he knows that, though.
Might
You know,
not.
like, the power of having everyone rooting for you, I think you need to know that they're rooting for you for it to actually have an impact. I just don't know if the universe is that kind. But yeah, we've identified Petkov. His bio, he's an online heads-up player, also kills the $100 spin and goes. So he's already proved that his three-handed knowledge clearly does the job, even though he pretty much just sat back. But here we are, heads up. And even though Sebastian Sorensen has the big chip lead, I think it's fair to say the advantage goes to Petkov on experience. It was only about a year ago that Sebastian Sorensen became a semi-professional poker player, still works in a warehouse. I wonder if after this win he'll be tempted to remove the semi part of the semi-pro title. Because his bankroll is going to take a big boost here.
I always wonder what it's like to have a bankroll that high, where like to make significant dents in it, you gotta win main events or high rollers.
Yeah.
One day we'll find out, man. So limp here from Petkov with the 6-4 offsuit. Obviously not a very nice looking hand.
Hold on.
And an all-in and a fold very quickly. But when you're heads up with only 2 people playing, you're gonna be playing most hands here.
Yeah. Also be interesting to see if the pace of play changes, if things speed up or become slower. Whether the decisions become easier or harder. Again, remind you though, the deal has been done, 100,000 euros set aside. Plus, of course, the prestige of being crowned the champion here. And the trophy, which is a lovely colour. I don't know if you've ever stopped to admire it, but it's really pretty. You don't look impressed. I think perhaps you haven't seen it.
I'm a fan of trophies.
Good.
I think we mean more trophies in poker.
Bigger. I think they need to be bigger, more ridiculous. Like, have you seen the bowling trophies you get? Like,
Right.
those things that are about 6 or 7 foot high with multiple tiers. They look like, it's like a Roman column.
Yep.
Had sex with like a wedding cake. And what comes out is this ridiculous bowling trophy. Anyway, it's not the case here. It's quite classy. So that was really easy peasy. Fold from Sorensen. We're probably going to get a bit of this. And if you're not familiar with the heads up, the weird dynamic is, of course, the dealer button is the small blind.
Right.
So you get to act first, and a lot of the time the first thing you want to do is just fold.
Yeah.
So we can see that the button keeps sliding left and right, indicating who gets to go first, and a lot of the time we wait for the dealer to shuffle up and deal, and then immediately gets the card back, the chips go back across the table.
The logic is having the button in a normal game is a really big advantage because you get to see what everyone does after the flop. Now in heads up, to have that advantage as well as be in the big blind, it's too much.
Yeah. So a 9-10 off for Sorensen. Again, as you see from the button in front of him, that means he's first to act. He's got to make up the blinds. The blinds for 100,000, 800,000. So the first thing for him is to decide if he wants to invest more of his stack in his hand. He has just called, and as Petkov already has his 800,000 as a big blind, he gets the option to just take it to the flop without any further investment.
Terrible hand for free though.
I mean, that's the thing, is it's... Well,
Wow.
wow, I was just about to say, that's the horror, isn't it? Is that it doesn't cost you any more than you've already put in, but you do have to play 8 deuce. However, 8 deuce, absolutely fine with me, as long as the flop is always going to be deuce, deuce, jack.
Now it goes check, check on the flop, so Sorensen not making a stab at this thing. The next hurdle for Petkov is, can I get any money out of this thing?
That is the problem with poker, boys and girls. The hard bet is having a good hand and actually connecting with the board. And then the other really hard bit is finding an opponent who has similarly done almost as well as you, just enough to pay you off, but without beating you.
Absolutely.
If you can nail that formula, you're probably going to do really good at poker. However, the more poker you see, the more you realize when the dream comes true and you hit your 3-of-a-kind deuces with the 8 deuce, your opponent's probably mostly just waiting to fold. So 1.8 million in the pot, and now this bet from Petkov.
You're always sort of lying in poker, aren't you? When you have a good hand, you're trying to tell them you have a bad hand. When you have a bad hand, you're trying to say, I have a good hand. Like, you're never trying to tell them the truth.
I think there should be more honesty in poker.
Do you?
No, not at all. I'm always interested to see the guys that are less experienced, any of our qualifiers that got here, how they deal with it, because it's pretty grueling to come from being a recreational or semi-recreational player and then be put through 12 hours of play, day in, day out.
Absolutely. Only 20-minute breaks in between the 2.5-hour levels as well, or 2.5-hour playing gaps.
Yeah.
All in.
All in now from Sorensen with the 10-7 suited. It's not quite good enough for me to be shoving, but maybe he just wants to start putting the pressure on Petkov, and Petkov has gone for it. 10-7. Up against a real premium here by the look of it. Yeah, Queen Jack.
In a heads-up situation, these hands are both pretty decent.
So we see Petkov a decent favorite here. But 5 cards to come to spoil the day. If Petkov could take this down, he would be in a much better spot. 16.2 million in the middle here. No immediate improvement from Sorensen. He's going to have to still hit his 7 or 10. You see 6 outs, 6 cards left in the deck for Sorensen to hit to take the title here and now. Still no improvement, still just looking for a 7 or a 10. Petkov doubles up, sits straight back down. That's all safe, so everyone gets the pair of 3s. But King, Queen, Jack is good for Petkov, and he adds over 8 million to his stack. So now it's a 2-1 chip lead for Sebastian Sorensen as the crowd go wild. I really think we need to get a coach in for Sebastian.
You'll find out after the show.
This is one of my favorite Bulgarian chants. I'd stop immediately. I can't believe it. As soon as I mention it, they just knock it on the head. And isn't it sod's law that they're behind Sebastian? So Sebastian has got a really tough opponent staring down the barrels. And then he's got the whole support group behind him chanting every time he loses one. So 18 minutes left on the clock here. We roll straight into the next level. Right now still at the 400k, 800k level, 100,000 ante.
So a different dynamic now. 19 big blinds deep. There's room to do some different things. You can raise fold, you can limp shove. It's a bunch of different moves that weren't possible before that double up. Sorensen electing to raise with the King-7 over the limp.
Yeah, the King-7 got to be pretty strong heads up, and that's the thing you have to realize when she gets a heads up, is the hand rankings that we normally look for. You know, when you're trying to appraise your starting hand and decide what do I want to play, what do I want to pass, everything gets much wider. There's absolutely no point sitting in a heads up game waiting for the hands you would normally consider playable. I must say, I kind of lost track of how short Petkov was when Sorensen shoved with that 10 high.
But here's the thing, one more double up for Petkov, and it's a 2-1 chip lead for them.
It's such a silly game like that, isn't it?
I mean, you fight so hard for this title for 6 days, and sometimes it can come down to a cooler.
Well, that's why I'm pleased when we had that really shallow 5-handed game. It was good that we had the 2 eliminations sort of back to back, because it meant we actually had some proper poker stacks in play. You know, it's not awesome sometimes if you've got the guys who are clearly the best, you know, the cream and the crop. our final 5, and they're reduced to just shoving and folding. Sorensen to start this off with a king deuce. Again, a king in your hand heads up is a good place to start.
Making the raises really big, which costs them if Petkov were to decide to shove here, for example.
And Sorensen has to fold that.
You're risking more than you need to. And we see it here, right? So if Petkov, or if Sorensen folds, they could have got away for 400,000 less.
Yeah. And all those little bits and bobs add up. And all of a sudden, you suddenly find you've let your opponent come back in and you're sitting on equal stacks. So a lot of pressure now. I remind you, Petkov plays as an online heads-up specialist, so this is very, very comfortable territory for him. It's not to suggest that Sorensen doesn't know what he's doing, but so many different formats, so many different specialists. Some are spin and goes, some are the sit goes, some of the MTT players, the live players, the online players. This guy knows his heads up. And now he's up to 17.2 million. Sebastian on 31.8.
Petkov rallying.
Yeah. This is the tournament they're after, not just to be crowned as champion here. They've already done the deal, and you can see along the bottom of your screen that Petkov has already secured himself 917,000 plus euros. Sebastian Sorensen, 887. They're still fighting for a 100,000 euros on the side. That trophy, and to some degree just as important to actually walk away with the title, to be crowned and acknowledged as top dog here at the PokerStars Championship Barcelona. Especially when you've got such a big field, it's just such huge kudos.
I just think there's a lot of people that have money. There's not very many people that can take down a title like this.
And then there are people like me that have neither, you know?
Well, you gotta start somewhere.
I mean, at least I've got both dreams still open and available to me. Those poor schmucks with all the money, they sit at night in their yachts dreaming of being a champion. The guys who are champions, they're probably rich as well. Me, both those things still on the cards, yeah? Think about that for a minute. Can I borrow some money back?
Come with the wrong guy.
Well, I've no idea why this is started up, but I love it. Join in, Jamie. Clap, clap, clap. Clap, clap, clap.
It's polarizing, but I really like the rail.
Do you know what? The good thing is I like a switched on rail. I like a rail that will give you all the chant, but as soon as the cards get dealt, they calm down.
Absolutely.
Because what you don't want to do is bludgeon the back of Sebastian Sorensen's head into submission by screaming Bulgarian at it. Oh yeah.
Oh.
But see, again, this brings me back to my point. That's 50% of the problem right there. The great starting hand. Getting paid off by Petkov. I mean, Petkov could even just fold here. Oh, he's already called, excuse me. Petkov called. Sorensen raised, 3.1. And those beautiful pocket aces never get to see the light of day. Don't forget, if you want to talk to us on Twitter, you can get to us using the hashtag PokerStarsTV. Girl on the sofa has decided to use capital letters, saying, "Let's tweet louder." It's going to be a shout-off between the Bulgarian rail and Twitter. I've got a feeling I know who's going to win that one. The thing is, with Petkov still under 20 big blinds, this could still be all over in one hand, or we could be up for another 6 hours. You just don't know.
Either way.
A raise to 2.7 from the King 3 of Sorensen. Queen Jack sure does look pretty.
It looks like electing just to call here. It is a hand that flops pretty well. It's not too difficult to play, so let's see 3 cards.
I think you'll find they're called the flop, but I don't want to pick you up. You're the pro. I'm just here to facilitate.
Just trying to put a little flair on that one, man.
I like it. So, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd Street down, all at once. It's Ace 9-8, 2 diamonds on the flop, 5.6 million in the middle.
This helps neither opponent, so who's going to show the aggression to be able to take this thing down?
I guess that's the really interesting thing for me sometimes with the heads up is that it's so rare that either of them have enough connection with the board that they're betting because of their cards. It's just a bit of momentum, a bit of flow, who's got the upper hand, who's got a bit more aggressive tendencies. The old psychology rolls into the game. So, I mean, that's the thing is you can't just keep legitimately playing your cards because they will let you down most of the time. And Sorensen did raise pre, so I guess unless he had some sort of physical tail or his spider sense was tingling, no reason to not take Sorensen seriously. It would be my absolute pleasure to add a third voice to this melee. Hey, Joe Stapleton.
Hello, my baby. It's been a busy day handling bust-out interviews, heartbreak in Brazil.
Ah.
Neymar.
Too soon.
How sad was Neymar? I think Neymar wrote a swear word.
Wow.
No, Andre, no.
It's a good job you can't understand Brazilian because you're very easily insulted.
Well, it said vamos, so I thought that was good. And then Andre was like, don't read the rest of that.
Oh, okay.
So maybe it said vamos yourself.
Yeah.
I cannot remember the last time there was such a hard-fought final table.
It's been amazing, hasn't it? And so many opportunities to see the exit of a player. Hit on the turn, hit on the river, everyone sits back down. We nearly had it come to a conclusion, a few hands back. Petkov instead managed to double up. Now we've got two guys fighting it out with enough chips to do some damage.
I guess we haven't commented on this hand because nobody's got anything, or even like a draw. Like they barely have pair draws.
Yeah, well, I think there are just so many hands. It's going to be whoever fancies getting their chips on the table first is just mostly going to win. Every now and then we get a little bit of a shifty playback, and somebody goes, no, and raises to test the water, but Petkov not quite got enough chips to do that super often.
Well, he's under 20 big blinds, 43 for Sorensen. Hey, there you go. Chip counts.
Petkov.
He might end up on my list of favorite Bulgarian players.
There is room, isn't there?
Did you see my list of my top?
Yeah.
My top 4 favorite Bulgarian players.
It's a solid list as well.
Danchev, Nadanov, Popov. Popov gets a treat. Dimov, Petkov.
I mean, it just fits in there. That total live earnings figure is going to get a real big top up come the end of this tournament. Already got 900,000 plus euros locked down. Still fighting for another 100,000.
You know, I always wondered what that off means at the end of everybody's name.
Yeah.
It just means person. Huh. No, I'm just kidding. I made it up.
Yeah. It didn't sound particularly believable. I just thought in case you'd been trolled by someone, I
Pet
just go...
person, Dean person, Dan person.
Makes sense. I mean, Sorensen. I'm guessing
Yeah.
he's the son of Soren.
Exactly. That was what it meant eventually.
Well, this could be fun. Guess what we're hoping to see on the flop, everybody?
The best player winning?
I was hoping for a Jack 8-9 flop, actually. But your idea is also quite good.
Let's at least get like a Queen 10, maybe? So we got some straight draws. Like some reasons to get involved.
You're thinking like a poker player.
Okay.
Or we could just not see a flop at all.
Which is surprising, but
But
acceptable.
not.
And as mentioned, this is his second live tournament ever. He only went semi-pro about a year ago. Still works in a warehouse when he's not being a superstar poker player.
I hope it's something really interesting in the warehouse, like adult toys or fireworks. I'm just gonna hit him up for a discount either way.
Both of those things quite high on your shopping list.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes together. Do you know, as soon as I said it, I thought, oh, please don't take the bait. I've just led you down a path that can only end dismissal. Queen 10 of clubs looks pretty.
And we just lost Salt Lake City.
Sorensen still choosing that big raise sizing, which makes this a very interesting heads-up situation. It really does change what sorts of hands Petkov can play. The cheaper it is, the more you get to play.
It's worth remembering that. It's a real Handy tip.
The poker today has been so cheap. There should be like a late night television advertisement for it with like a crazy Russian and lots of loud. What was that guy's name? Crazy Ivan?
Yeah. Lots of horns going off.
Yeah. Meow, 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 meow. Cheap poker.
So Petkov just cheeky here with the ace-6. Just gonna limp in here, completes the small blind. Sorensen checks the option.
Not taking the bait. Petkov definitely rooting for something there.
I mean, the only way Petkov gets really any value here is if Sorensen's just convinced there's no way Petkov would have ever just completed a small blind holding an ace.
Decent sized bet here of 2.1 million. This is such a nice spot for Petkov. Under-repped his hand. Didn't announce that he had something good before the 3 cards came out on the flop.
In a vacuum, it's a nice spot for him. I mean, that he's getting bet into here. I feel like Sorensen is a bet once and give up a lot kind of guy.
Yeah.
Daniel used a phrase earlier called "give him some rope." I feel like you could give Sorensen all the rope in the world, and he'll just go, "Oh, this is rope." Fold. Check out.
You know, sometimes the reads pay off, Joe.
Well, here we go. He is actually gonna
sometimes-
double barrel this with King High.
Sometimes they don't. And this is a spot for Petkov where it's just he just gets to call. He gets to allow Sorensen to bluff sometimes.
He's using the rope.
Yep. And we have to piece the puzzle together and remember back to earlier in the hand. Sorensen just deciding to check, not investing any more money before the flop. That says something about the sorts of hands that they're going to have here. It's pretty unlikely Sorensen has an ace-king, an ace-queen, an ace-jack.
Well, Petkov has taken the rope and yanked it right back. He's done pretty much all he can to let Sorensen get away from this now. How's he supposed to know, though? What do you think of this shove in general, though? Do you think you're going to get called by... You know, this is a hand you'll never get called by. Will you get called by many worse hands unless it's some kind of crazy cooler and there's ace-4, ace-tray, or ace-deuce out there?
I think if you have an 8 and a draw, or jack-9... No, even that's not priced in. I think maybe a call is better here, Joe. Because, like you said, it's going to be really tough to get called by a worse hand. So you don't want to give free cards. There's a benefit to getting draws to fold and charging them. Probably not enough of a benefit.
So Petrov wins one.
The rail go wild. And we are about to tick over into the next level. Level 39. Now we're at 500,000 at 1 million. Small and big blind and a 100,000 ante.